Okay, today is June 21st, 2021 for the regular council meeting for the Village of Stryker at 6 p.m. And tonight, leading us in prayer, is Mr. Tim Martin from the Baptist Church here in Stryker.
Our Father in heaven, we thank you for this country, this state of Ohio, and our village of Stryker that we are so blessed to be a part of. We thank you for the freedoms that we have. Help us not to take advantage of those or take them for granted. And we just pray that you would have your will here in this village, that everybody would seek to get along, to seek one mind, and to seek you ultimately. Father, we pray for the salvation of the people here in Stryker that do not know you. We pray for this village council that they would seek you in their decisions. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Tonight, leading us in the pledge is Army veteran, Mr. Roger Whelan.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I want to thank both of you for coming up and doing that for us, as well as the little guy. Good to see this as well. We don't always get that age group to come up and visit, but we appreciate that for both of you. With that leads us into roll call.
Armstrong?
Yes.
Cameron?
Yes.
Benner?
Yes.
Farmer?
Yes.
Ingram?
Here.
Feehan?
With that, Feehan did get a hold of us today and say that she was going to not be able to make it tonight. And that leads us into visitors. And we will go right to Mr. Martin Cherry.
All right. Looking to have a variance in the ordinance change to be allowed to have a few goats on my property. I live next to United Producers, and the property I'm speaking of does not have a house or a dwelling on there. It's the north side of Mulberry Street, in between United Producers and Pleasant Street. It's 3.19 acres, I'd like to section off just a little piece of that. My youngest daughter, she's allergic to cow's milk and dairy, and I don't know if any of you guys know, but it is expensive to try to substitute that. And she can have goat's milk, and that's, why I'm here trying to get the ordinance changed.
What we would have to do on that, since there is an ordinance against animals, certain animals, and goats would fall under that.
Right.
There is, and correct me if I'm wrong, or correct me, but there is some allotment or allowance for some animals that would be a show at the fair. And there's a certain time period, and I don't know what that is off the top of my head, but I do know, I think sheep fall into that, and some other animals as well, which goats may. But you're asking for beyond that as well.
Correct.
What we would have to do is get the judiciary committee together
Okay.
on that proposal that you're requesting, and then from there we could go further. And I think there's another committee as well we have to look at. That we could probably include those individuals as well. But what we can do with that is at least talk with that group.
Okay.
And some of the members here are part of that, but we would sit down and have a special meeting just for that, to discuss it.
Okay. I'm not trying to start a whole farm or anything like that. It would just be small for my family.
Okay.
You said it's 3.9 or 3.19?
3.19.
And Martin, would you have any neighbors that would be impacted by that?
No.
Okay.
This committee.
My house sits just to the south of the property, and I would keep it contained, behind my house and then on the side of, United Producers, not towards the other side.
Now, would they be outside constantly, or will they have shelter?
No, they will have shelter.
They will have shelter.
Yep, I would put up a shelter.
How many are you looking at?
I've got a family of 6, so instead of having just my daughter Macy, probably enough for all of us, I'm thinking maybe 6 at the most. And then to keep a goat in milk, you have to breed. So then there will be offspring from that. But I wouldn't plan on keeping them, to raise them up or anything.
So we were having a sidebar here as they were asking some questions. It may wind up being the Planning and Zoning Committee and not the Judiciary, but we'll get that one straightened out, because we don't get this request very often.
Right.
But it's going to be one of those two, if not both, because a lot of times, we serve, or these guys serve on multiple committees. So we'll have more than just that committee, at least open to. So what we'll do from here is, if they have any more questions, that they can get with you now, or we can discuss that at that, either the Planning and Zoning and or the Judiciary, and I'm not sure which one it is.
Okay.
But we'll set something up for that.
And then do you know when those meetings would take place? Is it a monthly?
That is next thing that I'm going to talk about.
All right.
So who is on our Planning and Zoning?
Terry Wallace, you, Jason White, and Patsy Hamler. And
Okay,
it was Rex Blevins, but, they didn't fill that when Rex left.
one
so-
rep, okay.
So it's usually one council person. And then the judiciary is Sam Farmer, Lee Armstrong, and Sean Ingram.
What I'd kind of like to do is put both together, and then we can discuss it that way, and then we're hitting both of them. Is that
I
as
think
legal
that's a
counsel?
great idea. Yes, I
And
think
have
that's
legal
okay.
counsel.
Mhm.
So with that, what we'll do is we'll have Beth reach out to the people on the planning commission, or planning and zoning, to see where they are, since they're not council members. There will be one spot that is open, that usually has a council member on that as well. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll reach out to those guys, see when they're available, and then I'll have Beth reach out to us as well, and then make that arrangement. And even if you are not on that committee, again, we're here in Stryker, and we all wanna have many ideas, so you're more than welcome to come up with that. And what we may do is, have you come up and discuss with the group as well.
Oh, yeah,
We'll
definitely.
reach out to you on that one. That way, they have all the questions answered that they need to have. Okay? Anything additional from Mr. Cherry?
Well, I probably would want to get his information to contact you.
Okay. Did you guys have any more questions? Okay. That is going to, and I'm gonna slow down since she's gonna record this part for us, on paper. Looking at, the prior minutes of 5/17/2021, is there a motion to accept?
I'll make the motion to accept the minutes of 5/17/21.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
With, prior to the vote, is there any additions or corrections that need to be made prior to vote? And roll call.
Cameron,
Yes.
Benner,
Yes.
Farmer,
Abstain, absent.
Ingram,
Yes.
Armstrong.
Leads us into the finance report dated 6/18/2021. Looking for a motion to accept.
Maybe I got a copy of that.
Oh, it's accepting all the reports.
This one you didn't get?
Oh, that?
Yeah,
I'm
it's,
sorry.
it's
I
accepting all
apologize.
the
I
reports.
thought there
The
was a
signature, the signature
No,
page.
just the
should be
finance
there.
report, which is the one that she,
So moved, sorry.
okay. Who is the,
I moved.
okay, and the second?
Second.
Okay. With that, Beth, do you have any comments on the finance report to council?
I'll just summarize, the revenue from last meeting, bringing in was a little over 125,000, and we spent, a little over 99,000 in a time period. So it was a good time period.
Did that create any questions for our fiscal officer? There is none. Roll call.
Benner,
Yes.
Farmer,
Yes.
Ingram,
Yes.
Armstrong,
Yeah.
Cameron.
Yes.
Communication, and I will either turn this over to Beth or Alan, I'm not sure which one's going to talk about it, but that's going to talk about the village electronic sign, and I do have someone that would like to know where we're getting this from, so I'll give you that information later.
Okay. In front of you, you have a copy of the proposed sign. We had several options, along with, there were several council persons that made a decision on which one we were gonna go with, which, the one you're looking at is one that was chosen. The cost is down there at the bottom, which Beth and I had met with the salesman and had it reduced by about
About
$3,000,
Switching it up a little bit.
just to get the cost down a little bit on it, so. I did meet also with the contractor on the stone, on the brick mason work. That was not included in that price, so. Local gentleman here does that, and I met with him, and he come up with the design with, that looks like the picture, for the amount of $4,000, $4,075.
Just on top of this,
Yes, correct.
And that's material and
That's
labor?
everything, total,
4,000 and what?
$4,075. And what we did do, we changed some of the lights, what was it, a 16? They recommended a 10, which was more money, but we said, no, we're gonna go with the 16. He said basically, every year, a couple of years, they just keep lowering the light bulbs, make it smaller and better picture with colors and that kind of thing, but the price just goes up when you do that, so.
There's a 5-year warranty.
Okay, forgot about that.
Now, is this something that the software will have to be updated so often, or is it something that once
Didn't
they?
say anything about that, but that does include all
That
the
includes all the
Software,
software updates and training.
controls and everything, so.
The
What-
software will include graphics. He said we could add something to it also if we wanted to, but it's gonna have so many graphics on it that you can go in and basically program the flag, and it's, remote control, so like wireless, so we'll be able to put what messages we want on it, pick what graphics.
What's the time frame on this?
As he didn't really say, is he's waiting on our answer yesterday.
And he gets with the contractor for the brick to work it out, because there's a hole for the,
Center pole that mayor offered to pick up until he went on his way home, so.
So basically, we're looking roughly about 32,000, a little over.
Right.
So from that standpoint, what do you need from council from this point? Because that's under the threshold of what you can sign
Correct,
for.
correct.
Is that something that you would just like a motion?
Which account that we have in the budget?
capital outlay in the general fund.
So they're out of Charlotte, North Carolina?
No, they're
I think there's
out
24 out of there, and then
They're
they'll
out.
be using some
They're-
water and sewer money to make up the rest.
worldwide, but they're out of Toledo.
Oh, okay.
Which Village of Edgerton used this, Bryan's used some of it for their signs.
Now,
It's been.
if we get the COVID money, I think we could, since we're putting water sewer messages on it, you know, depending on if that does come in, I could use some of that, we could use the capital outlay in general, which I think there's like 24,000, and then some water and sewer operating money, I was thinking. Because the majority of it is gonna be water sewer messages, more general fund, garbage.
Now, if we use the money out of general,
So
can
we
we
could really
replace it
use
with the
some of all.
COVID then? Is that possible? I don't know what the legal part of that would be if we take it out of
If
general,
I,
if we could use it.
probably, so if the well, nobody knows there's for sure what the COVID round, what this is gonna be. Rumors is it's gonna be water, sewer, or broadband. So if I used water sewer money, I could probably put the COVID money there, but I'm not
If
sure.
we get that COVID money,
the
we
general.
were talking about putting that towards Johnson Street.
Yes, and
So
you
we'd use
still,
all of it, there would still be some. left
there'd
over.
still be some,
Okay.
yeah. If we get the 250,000, Johnson is gonna be about 125,000.
There's a little left over, but just wait for more. To be continued here.
We will only
In
get
a little bit.
half this year and half next year is what the,
Is the other half the water tower or no?
Yeah, he's gonna break that soon. So do you want a motion from council?
Just, head nod is fine.
Just remember, folks, I'd like to put in my 2 cents. It's only 5.5 these days. Granted, I'm the one that thought this up.
So this was your
brought
fault
up
that
by
we're
me.
spending money.
Yeah, pretty much. But, okay, now that I'm seeing the cost of this, and honestly, I did not think it was gonna be this much money, I don't know why. But I did not think it was gonna be this much money. And we do have another project out there that needs completed, it's just dang near the same thing. We need to do this one. We needed to do it for years.
Let's see the problem.
The telemetry at the pump stations.
Good point.
The telemetry is a lot more than that.
It is.
Yes.
When did that go up?
We had an engineer's estimate, when was that, in the fall? To rehab all the lift stations, all the telemetry. I mean, we're gonna want some help with that one too. It was pushing 350,000.
Okay, so that's a little more than this.
Wow.
350.
I mean, that's, new pumps, all the control panels, that kind of thing.
My bad, I was under the impression all we needed to do was the electronic controls inside.
So,
The comma's in the wrong spot.
All right, so that being said, I'll shut up now.
Is there any other discussion on that for you guys?
Well, I mean, this is beautiful, obviously. You can do it a lot cheaper. I mean, we did ours at the church for about $8,000. We also have the lowest res of, the changeable board, no color or anything like that. So, and that's where a lot of the cost is. 20,000 is just in that board, so, if we're concerned about the cost, we could still do it, but just maybe not quite as, beautiful thing as we have here.
Any
Well,
other?
if your resolution at that church is the lowest they can get, I can see that from my house.
Yeah. Well, but we don't put anything on there but letters, we don't put a lot of fancy graphics. I mean, that's the
It's pretty
trade-off
right.
you get, you don't get the pretty stuff.
Right.
Any other questions or comments? Because I'll shift this slightly with that. Is there any objections to getting the sign? I think there's definitely, from my side, I think there's a need. I've heard about the sign up here. It's getting to the end of its life cycle, even though it still looks nice. I don't want it to be run down and then we just look like a village that doesn't care. Is there any objections to doing this project? And I'm going to say that what we would wind up doing is giving the head nod to go ahead with the project, but for these guys to look at, is there a way to reduce that, whether it's through another board or, to do their due diligence as we have them anyway to do.
I would just say if you sometimes get what you pay for, and a lot of these boards, whether they have the color or not, the resolution, makes it very difficult to read, especially if you're driving down the road. If you want something that they're gonna be able to read, you might have to put a little more money into it.
And that was the other discussion with this, we do have a lot of complaints from people. Why didn't you put that somewhere? How come we don't know about it?
Yeah.
This way we thought, well, if it's out there in great big neon, and if you don't know it by then, well, sorry. You know, we can only put so much on a water bill.
Just to get complaints from all the people that never come this side of town, you know, that stop at 191 or whatever.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I don't go that way.
Yeah, but they'll be able to see it from one.
Yeah, I can remember, I can see yours from my house.
And I know that the one there at the fairground, that one had to be toned down a little bit as far as the brightness
Yeah,
of it.
The people
Um,
were complaining right there on the.
It was awful bright.
It was, yeah, yeah.
I don't think there's any residences close enough here where that would be an issue though, are there?
There's also a setting in the software, I know for at least our board, that you can have it automatically change when it turns to dusk to
Yes.
be
Yeah, right.
dimmer
Dim
at
down.
night.
Yeah.
And
You can
talk
just
about
shut it
that.
off between certain
This one
hours
has
if you
that.
want.
Yeah.
So with that, I guess, from this standpoint, what I would kind of offer to council to do the head nod of is, yes, let's do the project. However, you know, do it the best that we can at the lowest price. And if this winds up being, you know, the better deal overall because of quality, because of whatever reasons they'll research, then let them run with it. But also, I mean, that's good to look at the finance side as well. And I would say for the most part, I've never known either one of them to say, I'm going to get the best, highest dollar one out there either. They do a nice job with the finances from the village side, taking into consideration the cost of things.
So do you need that in a motion or just a head nod?
What do you want? Let's do a motion. That way it's out
I'll
there.
make a motion.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second it,
Okay.
just for purposes of discussion.
Any additional discussion prior to voting?
One
What
thing that
exactly is our motion, just that they're gonna,
Look into it.
Yeah, we're just giving the head nod for him to go ahead and do what he needs to
Start
make
it,
it
but
happen.
if there's a way to cut costs a little bit, then.
Yeah, I would say that, I mean, I'm in favor of the sign and I'm in favor of the change of the warrant, I think that's all good. We could probably accomplish what we need though with something like monochrome and not the four color that's beautiful, you know, jumbotron style thing that we probably don't need all that.
But I think that's what that 10 and 16 and all that is, correct?
Correct.
And right now, we're on the cheapest one there is, correct?
No, we're on the 16.
Or
10
the
is,
middle.
10 is the cheapest. Well, no,
That's
sorry,
not-
10 is the most
10 is the
expensive,
most
20 is the cheapest.
Least
For-
expensive.
For
Least
RG
expensive.
That's least expensive for RGB, right?
Mhm.
I think you can save even more if you go monochrome.
Yeah, because right here it says add
Yeah, we want
$5,600 for 10, middle.
He did say though, if you try to put a flag in monochrome, you're not gonna.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
The
It's
Yeah.
like the red, white,
The
and blue.
question what I'm asking is, do we need the beautiful graphics,
Yeah,
or we just need
that's-
something that we can put, you know, trash pickup today,
Right.
or whatever, just the words.
And that's something that we'll let them run with, is what my thinking is.
Yes,
Okay.
I like the idea of some of the special things, but yet, you bring up a great point, is it something that we need? But let them run with that, because this is really something that he doesn't even have to bring to us because of the dollar amount. So there was a motion to say yes to this as far as with him running with it, to get the sign and get that moving. Any additional questions or concerns? Okay, roll call.
Ingram,
Yes.
Armstrong,
Yeah.
Cameron,
yes.
Bennett,
Yes.
Farmer.
Yes.
Okay, with that, that leads us into communication, or committee reports with the Welfare Committee, that was held, the meeting minutes, 6/7 of 2021. With that, Mr. Amy?
Well, I don't know, do we need a motion to accept it, or what do we do with that?
This is one where I can either read the top of it, if you wanna read the whole thing, or get the gist of it all.
I think everybody's already read it, so let's not read it again.
Okay. It is, take a motion to accept the Welfare Committee minutes, 6/7/2021.
I did not receive a copy of that.
Oh.
Yeah.
I so moved.
Okay. Is there a second for that?
I'll second.
Any additional comments, either for the committee or from the committee?
Probably the biggest thing, for those of you that read it, was, we were talking about what to do with our festival, whatever we wanna call it, Striker Fest or Heritage Day. And, what we could do to make it more successful than it's been, say, the past several years. And there were a lot of ideas kicked around. What we ended up with by the end of the meeting is doing something along the lines of a competition, like a cornhole tournament or something like that. And also live entertainment. We felt those were the two things that would bring people, and food as well, yeah.
Food will bring
The
everybody.
three things, yeah. We also felt though that in order to do that, we needed to have some access to some funds, which we haven't had for several years. So, I would like to see what the council feels about, and I've been talking to Beth about how to do it, just putting a little bit in the budget for this kind of thing going forward. But I would like to hear what everybody's opinion is about that.
Okay.
I mean, basically, we were discussing just having like starter funds, because we just need a little, I mean, and it's not
Yeah, we're not talking
big
about a
amount.
lot of money.
Beth, what did we spend before? Because there was a lot of times where we would, I think the last 3 times maybe it was, that we had bouncy houses and there was some cost incurred that the village just went ahead and took care of. What have we used before?
It's been between $600 and $600 to $1,000 I've spent.
Okay.
Because the bouncy houses were like 4 hours, and then the dunk tank, and then renting a space. Last year, we didn't do it last year because of COVID, but the year before, we rented the Legion, and the Rotary used it for bingo and, chicken. And we had the bouncy houses, and I think I had $750 total.
And that was that slush money you told me about that we used?
Yeah, I used our other line item on the general fund, which, and I just kinda took what we had extra and put into there and then paid out. But I've talked to Sean, and going forward, we would create like a cost center that would say Striker Heritage behind it, so you'd have a designated revenue line and a designated expense line in the budget. I can do that the next meeting, I didn't get the ordinance prepared, but, if we need to, we can do it like we did this year out of our general fund, and then next year create those lines when we pass the budget.
What dollar amount were you thinking?
Well, we kicked around a whole bunch of stuff. I think 500 was the lowest and 2,000 was the highest number we talked about. And it sounds to me like we've spent around 1,000 in the past, so, at least that I would think would be reasonable.
If you're looking for a DJ or something like that, 500 is low for a DJ to come and do.
Well, yeah, I think we were talking more like a live band or something like that.
And we also talked about like a car show, like give them like a prize for the best looking car, or
Yeah, that was
like,
one of the many ideas we came up with.
yeah, I mean, it was,
I wanna say it might have been the first, maybe the second year there was a car show. They parked at the school, and then that drew quite a few people in, and then 2 years ago, there was not the availability because there was another show somewhere. So that's a big thing as well. If it's, depending on the day it is, which it
Yeah, and
escapes
we
me.
decided to keep the current date rather, because there was some talk about moving it to coincide with that other event.
Mhm.
But that's on a Sunday, and we thought that was problematic, so we decided to leave it on the day we have it, which is August the 21st, which is Saturday.
With that, there may be a potential of a motorcycle ride as well that could either start or finish here.
Yeah.
So there's a potential there.
I thought that was,
It's not what we're thinking. So, and then parade as well, an evening parade.
Sure, if we can pull it off. That wouldn't be affected by the monies at all.
No.
Yeah.
Typically what happens with that one is the Heritage Council.
Heritage
Sorry.
Council.
The Heritage Council sets up down there at the Quadco and Derby Cone, or not Derby, Jagger Cone. I'm dating myself now, aren't I? But they set up and organized it down there for us. And I know that their president of the Heritage Council has sent Beth and I a couple texts wanting to know some information on that.
We can work out all those details
Okay.
later. I just wanna know what the council feels about the spending the money.
I think right now, we have been so closed in because of COVID, that getting out in the community, people out and involved, I think that's a good idea. So
You
putting a little more into it from our end, I think would benefit the community this year.
Okay, so you think about $1,000 is a fair number?
I think it's a good start, at least.
Yeah.
What you guys think, too. Okay, well then, I move that we set up whatever fund we have to do. Beth will take care of it.
I'll let you guys worry about that on the back end. We haven't voted
Oh, sorry.
on the, no, you're good. It was all open discussion. That's why we do it prior to voting. So you guys can get with that and figure that part out using the head nods. So any additional discussion over the welfare committee minutes? Then roll call. Oh, hang on.
Do you guys have ideas that would help?
I don't, yeah, let's do that at a committee meeting rather than here.
Okay.
Okay, roll call.
Farmer,
Yes.
Ingram,
Yes.
Armstrong,
Yes.
Cameron,
Yes.
Bonner.
Yes.
Leads us into legislation looking to suspend and then pass. Resolution 06-2021, TAC 2, accepting the amounts and rates as determined by the Budget Commission. Is there a motion to suspend?
I'll make a motion to suspend resolution 06-2021-2.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any questions or comments prior to vote? Roll call.
Ingram,
Yes.
Armstrong,
Yeah.
Cameron,
Yes.
Bonner,
Yes.
Farmer.
Yes.
Looking for a motion to pass Resolution 06, TAC 2021, TAC 2, accepting the amounts and rates as determined by the Budget Commission. Is there a motion to accept?
I'll make a motion to accept said resolution.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Any additional comments or questions or concerns on this resolution? Roll call.
Armstrong,
Yeah.
Cameron,
Yes.
Bonner,
Yes.
Farmer,
Yes.
Ingram.
Yes.
Takes us into village officials. Typically, I start on my left. I will start on my right. Chief Slusher.
Oh, well, I apologize, I didn't have time to get a little note around or anything, but Sergeant Mendez in the K-9 vehicle, coming along, it's getting there. They got everything switched over out at the school. And obviously there were some concerns about all the electronics for the dog cage and everything, so we're waiting on Mark Bishop to give us a good time where we can get that vehicle out there for him to fix that. In the meantime, we had the windows tinted out, and there were some issues in the front suspension that had to be fixed. Other than that, we should have our K-9 out and available probably within the next couple weeks, is what I'm thinking. So, not a lot else. I mean, I did get a verbal resignation from a part-time officer today, before he gives me his written resignation. I'm gonna leave out names for now, but obviously he was an hours eater, and that's gonna hurt us pretty bad. So we're gonna be jumping through some hoops here with the schedule here real soon, like next week. So But we get through it, we always do. And as far as the activities go, let's see. We have had 66 calls for service. We had 5 traffic warnings, 3 citations, and 1 arrest.
Any questions for Chief? All right, thank you, Chief. Beth?
You should have all, I believe, got an email for the audit report. If you want a copy or hard copy, just, I'll print it for you, just let me know. And I'll print it, I didn't kill trees with it, but
Did you send us that by email already?
I think it was, you should have got it from the auditor
That was from
state's
the
office.
auditor.
You should have all been emailed it. If you didn't, or if you want a copy of it, I have it for 2019 and 2020. That's all I have.
And if you don't have that, that's something that we can get to you as well.
I don't know if many of you have noticed, the tree was taken down here over the weekend, or last night, I should say, last night,
This morning.
this morning. Okay. It was cleaned up today. Our crews cleaned it up, so the tree looks like it might survive. We'll just leave it go and see what happens. Other than that, a lot of brush around town, which the guys' crew was busy all day today with that. Normal summertime maintenance program with parking lots, sidewalks, senior center. Had a couple big bad spots in the concrete, got those replaced. They're just waiting for them to cure. Sidewalks the same around there. And also in the senior center, we ended up changing all the light bulbs out. It was getting dimmer. I'm sure Councilman Dave has heard about that. So, got that taken care of.
Job well done, thank you. Thank you very well, sir.
Because that did open back up 2 weeks ago, I believe. So seniors are back in there on their weekly, daily basis. We did come across another building maintenance item here. The rain before last, we had a leak in the back room. Went up there and checked it out, and it's a rubber roof, and found some seams bad. Called a guy in to repair them, and he says the roof needs replaced. So he gave us a price of $13,000 to replace the entire roof. So they give him to go ahead and do it. It's in bad shape, so we gotta fix it.
That was the other part that I said was coming later.
And that's all I have. Any questions? This building.
Okay.
I did try to look up the age, and I can't find exactly, but it's over 25 years old, so.
We could just put up a brand new building behind us and turn this into a parking lot. That'd be my suggestion.
Not for $13,000.
You willing to do the labor?
Get loans.
I'll pick on Chief for a minute. He's a Marine, so no. The answer is no. Building anything, no. Sorry,
I'm
Chief.
sure we can find enough Marines for a working party.
We just gotta have enough people tell you what to do.
Yeah.
That comes from the Navy side, sorry. So,
We should move on quickly.
yeah, we can move on. Any additional questions for Alan? One last time around, Chief?
Nothing.
Katie, sorry, I always skip you.
No, I don't have anything.
Okay. Beth?
No,
Nope.
Right here. Start on my right side.
Preston having trouble tonight.
Okay.
I have one, looking at doing some research into putting in a dog park so that we can take dogs and let them run off leash. So it'd be a fenced in area, and kinda wanna know what other people thought about that.
You know where?
You know where they used to have the community garden a couple of years ago? That would be a nice area to do that, maybe? looking at Alan going, am I volunteering a land space?
Well, that might be spoken for,
Possibly.
or another community garden.
Now, there will be a fenced-in area coming south of town that will have solar panels in it.
Hey, we didn't let the dogs run on the solar panel, look at that.
That's good. I like that.
It would save us from putting the fence up.
Yeah.
Maybe we could come up with something if you decide you want to do it.
How about we have Alan, do some investigation of where you think we might go and
Approximately how big of area would you do? Maybe
I'll
1
show you,
acre?
I have a picture.
Half acre, 1 acre?
I don't know pictures, I just know
Okay.
video.
Okay.
I got spoiled down in Bloomington, like, oh, really nice ones out there. And I know we have a lot of people that walk their dogs and.
Mind bark at them as they walk by.
That's fine.
Okay, anything else? No. Okay.
No, thank you.
I'm good.
Okay, I have something that I'll get with you guys later on, something that came through an email today, as far as some service work, some people are interested in, coming up in the near future that I wanna get with you guys. I have nothing else, so with that, all those in favor to adjourn, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say aye. All right, thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.